Hi, this is Anita from the Dusty Roads podcast. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about safety and especially safety in traveling alone. And I'm going to talk about this in particular, is Vietnam safe to travel alone? Now that COVID is over, people are starting to travel. I notice there's a lot more people that are coming to countries like Vietnam. And there are many people that are coming basically on their own. And a question that many might ask is it safe for me to travel alone? Is this a place where I can travel alone, especially if you're a woman? Is this a place where you will be able to feel safe? I have told many people that in many parts of Asia, and I would probably include this to be China, Hong Kong, Vietnam, many parts of Asia, is no place that I would not go day or night and not feel relatively safe. And can't say that about many places in America, such as even my own city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or, Chicago or other places. There are parts of those cities where I will never go because I would know that I would never be safe. So here's a couple things, though, to remember about your own safety. One of the things is that, wherever you are in Vietnam, you may not be harmed as far as there may not be like a gang shooting that's going to happen on the streets or something like that. But there are things that can happen where maybe you won't quite be safe. One of the things is keep your belongings secure. With any travel, keep your eye open on your belongings. If anything's going to happen, it's going to maybe be someone's going to be a purse snatching or that type of thing. If you have a purse, make sure it has a zipper on it so they just can't, just grab in and just take your purse or your wallet out. I always try to travel with two wallets. I've talked about this before. I have one with my credit card and larger cash, and I also have one that has smaller cash for smaller purchases. I always hide one of them in my backpack. So really you need to make sure that you have, the proper things to keep yourself safe. If you're looking for a really good backpack that can help you to be able to be safe, PackSafe is a great company that makes some really great backpacks and other products with safety built into them. There are snatch and go robberies in Vietnam. Any Vietnamese will tell you. This is especially true if you're on a motorcycle. That's why people, when they're on a motorcycle, you'll see there can always be like a little hook where they always hook their bags on. They will, they'll strap their purses securely around them. They'll make sure their backpacks don't easily come off. You will see motorbikes which will have double locks on them on the street all the time, because those are things which do happen here, where a motorbike gets stolen, especially if you're renting a motorbike and you don't secure it properly, it could get stolen. Robbers are known to come up to, beside someone on a motorbike, grab a bag when it's not secure and drive off. That has happened here quite a bit. So if anything, there's a lot of snatch and grab robberies. So you need to keep your belongings locked and safe in Vietnam. I once had a friend, and I'm not kidding you this, where I heard he put $5,000 cash in a suitcase under a bus. And this is when he was traveling between Laos and Hanoi. And by the time he arrived, back to Hanoi, he realized the cash was gone. I don't know why anyone would not keep so much money on them and would leave it in a suitcase. Do not leave valuables like that in a suitcase underneath a bus, even if you think it's locked or other things. Just do not do it. Keep it on you. Keep it around you. Keep it hidden, so that people cannot be able to see it. Keep it where it's with you all the time. If your hotel in Vietnam has a safe, use it. Make sure it is a safe that people cannot easily get into. For example, a lot of times I'll put my driver's license, credit cards, and other things I do not use, and other IDs, I will put into a safe and I will lock them away. Use a reputable taxi company or use something like Grab taxis. Sometimes when you go to the airport and other places, there might be people standing outside saying, "Oh, you want taxi ride, taxi ride." I never take those rides. I go directly to the taxi stand and I take a regular taxi. If I need to take another taxi, I'll a lot of times use the Grab app. At least then you can track down exactly who you took and where you went on those apps. You will also find for a lot of the better hotels here in Hanoi, especially, I've seen many times the doormen have written down the license plate numbers of the taxis that have come up. So they want to know, which taxis were taking their guests, where they were taking them, and they'll write that down for security. And there's a reason why they have done that, is because you want to make sure that you use a reputable taxi or cab, that you do not have problem or somebody tries to rob you. Motorbikes or bicycles can get stolen if you do not lock them properly. I once had an intern, I let him use my bike, and he rode my bike. And then he came home one day and said, "Oh, you won't believe what happened. Your bike got stolen." I said, "Well, how did it get stolen?" He said, "Well, I was at this park and this little Vietnamese kid came up to me and says, 'Oh, what a nice bike you have. I'd really like to try your bike.'" And he said, "Okay." And he let the kid ride my bike and was surprised when the kid ran off. Okay. I said to him, "Would you hand someone your keys to your car and let him just drive your car off?" No. Don't do stupid things like that and expect something's going to happen differently, because it's not. Never flash around cash in Vietnam. Many robbers, they'll roam the tourist areas, and if they see you with a huge wad of cash, chances are they may try to rob you. Have a photocopy of your visa in case your passport gets stolen. Make sure you have that. That is very important for you just generally, and being able to deal with the U.S. Embassy, or if there's anything else that happens, be able to prove your citizenship. I believe that Vietnam is safe for female travelers to travel alone, and it's also safe for families. But of course, like any other place you travel around the world, you need to take certain precautions, and you need to be wise about the things you do and not do stupid things like put $5,000 cash in a suitcase underneath a bus, or let some kid drive off with your bicycle, or flash cash around, or have a purse that's open so people can easily grab in and take away your wallet. You need to be vigilant, and you need to make sure that you are, you're checking your belongings, in order to make sure that you'll stay safe. But as far as it goes about whether or not you're going to be safe or not, to be able to, your body, or if if there's going to be drive-by shootings, or if there's going to be gun violence, that does not happen here, like in some places like the United States or in other parts of the world. So in that sense, yes, you will be safe here. And this is a relatively safe place to travel, because there is not that type of violence here. Most of the problems I've seen with foreigners here have been foreigners getting on a motorcycle and not understanding the roads here and getting hurt or killed because of that, or foreigners going out hiking in places they should not be hiking in and then getting lost. Those are things that have happened here, and there have been foreigners that have lost their life here because of that. So whenever you're traveling, you need to understand, you need to be vigilant, and you need to also understand where you're going, who you're going with, and make sure that you don't end up doing something stupid like hiking someplace you shouldn't be hiking by yourself and falling off a cliff, or riding a motorcycle when you really don't know how to ride one, and going on the streets here and getting hit by a car. Those are things which I have seen here more than anybody getting shot or killed or anything like that. So I would say that yes, Vietnam is safe to travel alone, but like any other place in the world, you need to be vigilant, and you need to be sure to keep all your belongings and everything else intact. I've written a blog about this. I have lived in Vietnam for a long time, so I understand a lot about this. So if you're considering traveling to Vietnam or even other parts of Asia, this might give you some ideas on ways that you can be able to stay safe if you decide to travel here alone, or if you're not traveling here alone, if you're traveling here with a group, that you can be able to understand how to stay safe. It's entitled, "Is Vietnam Safe to Travel Alone? What You Need to Know?" We'll put a link in the description into the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you've enjoyed this podcast. We love to have you give us a like, give us a thumbs up. That really does help. And we'd like to have you subscribe. We'd like to thank you for being part of our community, and thank you for our tech support, especially Rico, helping make this possible.